All right, folks, it is time for yet another weekly debrief. Week 45, 2025. November is here, and it's all about the shutdown, right? Shutdown, shutdown, shutdown. Uh, we'll just hop into this thing. Try to keep it under an hour this time. For those that don't know, I do this weekly, sometimes I skip. Uh, Debrief of how the week went. I take a look at things at a big level on the national and international stages, look down at regional and local events, and kind of go over how I assess how they impact my life and what I tend to do for it. Blah, blah, blah. So let's dive right in. International events, pretty much the same as last week. The USS Ford Carrier Strike Group is still heading towards the Caribbean to join a plethora of other Navy vessels in and around the coast of Venezuela. As we all know, they're saying it's to disrupt the drug trade, which I get, but as I said in other videos, you don't need that many uh, boats in the water to take care of that. And besides the carrier strike group heading that way, they didn't buzz in the area with B-52 bombers, B-1 bombers, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we know what's going on. And surprisingly, that's not talked as much as I thought it would be in the social media world, but it is what it is. But on some brighter news, the trade wars with China and others, it's continuing to cool down for now. It seems both China and the U.S. have taken a couple steps back, but they've done that before, and they come right back up with tariffs and counter tariffs and all that kind of jazz. Uh, Actions for me, uh, they don't. Neither of those really impact me directly, other than the trade wars. There could be some price spikes here and there. Uh, That's all right. I am selective on what I purchase, and I focus on savings. So when the toys and gadgets and doodads on Amazon spike price, gives me good reason to reflect that do I really need that or not. Um, I'm still been doing a little research into what Venezuela has for military strength. I'm not going to get into that here. I'm not an expert, but I've been Uh, s- I just want to get a vibe of, is it going to be like Grenada was in Panama, or is it going to be another Afghanistan or Iraq? Um, Hopefully neither. That would be cool. So, with all international events that are politically and socially charged, I'm being mindful of any protests or visuals or rallies locally so I can be aware of them and avoid them. I'm a big proponent of avoiding such things in this day and age. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Even if it's for a cause that you are solidly supporting, uh, I would recommend staying away. Even if the people you're with are good natured, are not going to do anything violent, it just takes one or two bad apples to change that. And who knows what the opposition is going to bring. So just watch from a distance. But you be you. Nationally, and this is where it is for me. Things have been cooling off internationally, but or staying the same, but they've been spiking in spiciness nationally. Big thing is the government shutdown. Shutdown, shutdown, shutdown continues. Some are saying it's Trump's fault. Some are saying it's Schumer's fault. Some are saying it's the Democrats' fault. Some are saying the Republicans' fault. Yes, yes, you are correct. Uh, our government's a mess. It has been uh, for a very long time now. Uh, Trump and Schumer are not helping at all right now, but Hey, that's just my take. If you think it's all one side's fault, go right ahead. But what comes down to is government shutdown, uh, the SNAP and other food stamp type things are here or gone. They're being funded, they're not being funded. Nobody's giving you a straight answer. Uh, Other things are shutting down. Big thing now is they're reducing flight traffic. I know the FDA, oh, sorry, the FAA was doing like I've heard 10% at first. That I heard is 4% up to 10%, but some airlines are going way beyond that. I've heard some airlines are already cutting their flights by 20%. Uh, Obviously, those numbers don't correlate because one airline is bigger than the other, so on and so forth. But if you're traveling, it could screw things up, and it's another reason for more people to get a little more vocal in the streets. And the other thing is with the recent elections, oh boy, people are just screaming Muslims and socialists and of course ICE. Oh my. Tried to do a little bit of a Wizard of Oz thing there, but that backfired, but we'll leave it as is. People are worked up that the mayor of New York's a Muslim and more socialists are in office and ICE is doing ICE things. And yeah, it's the way it is. My my concerns with what's going on in New York, I'm watching it with curiosity. Um, I'm not like some people who are thinking that because this guy is a Muslim, now there's going to be Sharia law in 2 years. I don't see that happening. If you ever see pictures of his family, his wife doesn't walk around with the whole headgear on. She's dressing like a modern woman. So if his parents, um, I don't think there's a whole lot to be afraid of there. But hey, uh, what do I know? And I could be wrong. I hope I'm not wrong, but I could be wrong. So I'm just kind of keeping an eye on it, see how it goes. Uh, what would be more concerning is how does that empower other people who are more extremists, and is it just like a nudge into another direction? Is New York going to fall the way London and Paris have, with much more socialist views and a uh, favoritism to Islam? I don't know. We'll see, but it is something to pay attention to. A lot of people, it seems like, are already leaving the Big Apple. Good luck to you, I guess. And then, ice raids. You see so many shocking videos that people put up, these 5-10 second clips, completely out of context. Some of them are AI generated, all to pull on your emotions. So take that for a grain of salt. Um, is there bad stuff being done? Probably. Is it as bad as some are making it out? Possibly. Possibly not. I don't know. But all these things together come down to what I've been saying for a while here. Staying mindful of your local protests, uh, and your situational awareness. Don't draw attention to yourself. There's a lot of people on both sides of the political spectrum that are very angry and are just looking for a fight. So avoid it. Don't become a target, is what I'm saying. With the government aid being cut down, I'm still being mindful of security and theft protection because not all people who take government aid are horrible people, but a lot of them are, and some are on the edge. So that government assistance was helping them stay on the straight and narrow. Now they don't have that assistance anymore. So uh, just be careful. And that whole thing is a touchy subject, right? Government assistance. I'll just say food stamps, generic old school term that's not relevant anymore, but you get my drift. A lot of people need support, a lot of people need help from the government that they're not getting elsewhere. Yes, there's a lot of abuse in it. Uh, yes, there's generational abuse of taking over the welfare system. Yes, there's a lot of people still from the COVID area that were in a medial position that got onto the dole and they're like, I'm not making as much as I was before, but I'm making enough to survive, so I'll just sit on my butt and play video games. Yes, there's all of that. There's no getting around it. But there's also people that just need a little bit of a break, uh, just a little boost in the arm to get them through a tight spot, and then they'll be back on their feet and on their own again. Um, you know, we just gotta keep mindful of those people and support them where you can. So one of the things that I'm doing differently, or doing again, I should say, is I started to donate a little bit that I can here and there to more of the local charities, so the local food shelves. Uh, do what I can locally, right? Um, I can't do much, but I can do a little bit, and if others do the same thing, we'll be just fine. Even if, let me get back on the horse again here. Even if there was zero fraud involved with government aid, there's still a little bit of corruption here and there where people are, siphoning a little bit of the overhead off here and there to fund other projects in the government, or to line their pockets, or to grease the wheels, or so forth. And even if there was no corruption at all and no fraud at all, it's still the government, it's still inefficient. You're giving them a dollar and they're spending 30 cents to hand your dollar to where it needs to go, basically, making up numbers there. I don't know if I doubt it's 30%, but even if it's super efficient, it's still going to be 10% or whatever. Uh, let's cut the government, all that. Let's just go and support our local food shelves where they're charity, volunteer driven and stuff. A lot of churches do that. I know locally there's a group of people who are non-denominational, non-political. They're just out to help whoever, however they can. I support those. You should too. And if there's something like that in the area, get together with some people and make that happen. We can take care of ourselves better than the government can take care of us if we want to. All right, so there's my little spiel to be a better human being. Uh, so that's the national stuff. Like I said, I'm keeping up with the security, checking in on the neighborhood, doing the neighborhood watch thing, not officially, but with my pals. Regionally, back to the politics side of thing. A lot of attention was paid to the Minneapolis mayor election. Uh, it's kind of funny because I can't remember the dude's name, but he's a Minnesota state senator. He was born and raised around the DC area. His parents immigrated here from Somalia. So, of course, everyone labels him as Somalian, but no, he's a natural US citizen. Uh, but he just kind of appeared out of nowhere. I think he ran for like school board or something, a big district in Virginia or Maryland or whatever, somewhere around the DC area. And then he just showed up in Minneapolis area because Minneapolis has a large Somali population now. And he did some kind of made up jobs like with the university and other government agencies, the director of diversity and that kind of nonsense. And then he got elected state senator. And then now he ran for mayor of Minneapolis, which is just kind of weird because he has no ties to the state of Minnesota, let alone the city of Minneapolis, but he's going to make it better. And Minneapolis politics in particular, you think that he was running against the incumbent Mayor Fry. So on a national spectrum, you think, oh, it's a Republican versus a Democrat, but no, it's a Democrat versus another Democrat, or sort of a Democrat. The other guy was Omar Fateh. Finally remembered his name. He's a Democratic Socialist member of the DSA party, and it's funny. It was noted by the local media that whenever he did a campaign speech or anything, it was all Trump, Trump, Trump. He wasn't running against Mayor Fry. He was running against Donald Trump. So it was just kind of a weird thing, and others in that. And it's funny to see on social media people are cheering. The conservative shit posters and influencers are cheering that Fry got elected and Minneapolis dodged a bullet, but they're just assuming that Fry must be uh be a Republican. Uh, Back a few years ago in the riots, he's the one that did nothing to let the city burn. So it's not good down there. Um, and then another thing is, I just mentioned avoid crowds, protests, and everything for certain. But I am kind of break my own rules in the upcoming days. There's the event, a big public event that I'm going to. It's a non-political thing, but it's going to be a large crowd. And typically, I don't go to those things, but it's something I've always wanted to check out. So yeah, it's back to just observe and keep what's going on. And with this event is just to blend in and stay on the edge of the crowds. I don't want to get in the middle of anything just in case somebody thinks somebody else is something else. If that makes any sense. And check out what I want to check out and get out of there. I already got dorky as it sounds. I got things mapped out. Let me pause here and take a drink of water. A little unprepared for this one here. Sorry about that. Had uh back to my train of thought again. Sorry. But this is how it goes. I do this all in one take. Um, but like I said, the event I want to check out. I don't think there's going to be anything, but still, it just takes one little spark, one person thinking that somebody is not on their political team, and I just don't have time for that. So I'm just going to be mindful of that, and carry myself a little pepper spray when I'm in the crowd. Keep it in my pocket, out of sight, out of mind. But ready to blast some dipshit in the face and make a run for it. All right, so there you go. Still longer than I wanted to be, but here we go at the summary. Global stage is staying stable as it is. It's not peaceful, but stable. National things are getting more and more volatile, in my opinion, with this shutdown. Which makes me think, now that the government's been shut down for a month, do I get 1 month off my income taxes? That'd be nice. And again, winter is almost here. It's a big deal for me where I live in northern Wisconsin. So items of focus in general. With the shutdown and my big speech on being more charitable, I'm looking more into where I can help. Uh, I'm probably going to be donating some old winter clothes I don't use anymore that are in good condition, some more food, some more cash to the local charities. Uh, I gotta be more alert and avoid anything that's going to be possible for local unrest. It's going to be a long winter, folks. I just feel it. Getting that firewood stacked up, getting that propane tanks filled up, making sure the generators work, uh, keeping some water on hand in case things get shut down for a long time, because that would be the way it goes. So, all right, folks, that's the weekly debrief. And since I got this little bottle of pepper spray out, I'm going to do another video on that in a little more detail. Uh, never been a never been against pepper spray, but I've never really been a fan of it. Uh, we'll see how that goes. All right, be safe out there, be kind, and watch your back.